Hello, I'm Woodrow Wilcox reporting for Wilcox News Service. I'm in Gary, Indiana, where there's been a report of some unusual circumstances at the Davis Restaurant, Davis Banquet Hall, where there's polling going on. Hi, what's your name?
Jim Abbott.
And what were you trying to do here? I understand you were here before Jim Abbott. What was your purpose for being here at the polling place at the Davis Market and Catering?
Well, I'm a poll watcher for the Republican Party for the McCain campaign, and my purpose was to just observe. When we entered the premises, my partner Amanda and I spoke with the inspector, and we asked if she could introduce us to the Democratic and Republican clerks and judges. We were introduced by a woman who identified herself as a Democratic clerk here at this precinct. However, later on, the inspector told us that she was the Republican clerk.
Good morning, sir.
We then were told that we could not interfere with any of the judges or the clerks further. We were told to sit in the corner. We attempted to introduce ourselves to the individual who was pointed out to be the Republican election judge, at which point we were confronted by two individuals who did not appear to be credentialed. They identified themselves as assistant precinct committeemen, and they told us that we could not talk to anybody. They told us again that we were to sit in the corner and do nothing but observe. We reminded them that our job was also to introduce ourselves to the Republican clerks and to the Republican election judges. We were confronted by two other gentlemen who told us that we were interrupting, we were breaking the rules, and that essentially we were told to leave, in so many words, which we did. And that's more or less what happened.
So you believe that this was an act of intimidation by Democrats here in Gary, Indiana?
Well, there was no question it was an act of intimidation, but the real problem was that they, in the act of doing so, tried to make it appear as though we were the ones who were intimidating. In fact, my colleague, Amanda, all 110 pounds of her, was told she was intimidating people. The two gentlemen who confronted us were both over 6 feet tall, or large men, and voices were raised, and they were telling us that we were the ones who were interfering, breaking the law, and intimidating. That could not be further from the truth. The reality is we were simply there to watch, and we wanted to introduce ourselves to the Republican clerks and the Republican election judges, and we were not allowed to do so.
And you have credentials for being poll book watchers today, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi.
And what's your name?
My name is Amanda Butler.
And you're here in Gary at the Davis Market and Catering,
That's right.
and you're here as a poll watcher?
That's right. I'm a poll book watcher.
Okay,
For the
and you
Republican Party.
okay, and you're credentialed, and you came to this place to introduce yourself as a poll book watcher, and what happened?
That's right. I came with Mr. Jim Abbott, and we introduced ourselves first to the two inspectors for the two precincts here as poll book watchers, and we asked to be introduced to the Republican clerks and Republican judges. And what we actually asked, Mr. Abbott asked one woman if she were the Republican clerk, and she said, "No, I'm a Democrat." And a few minutes later, after the inspector had talked to us for a while, we were reintroduced to we were told that woman was the Republican clerk. We tried to introduce ourselves to the Republican clerk and the Republican judge to say, "Hi, if you've got any problems, if there are any voting irregularities, give us a call. We just want to know how things are going, have things been tallied up." But we were not allowed to talk to the inspector, to the judge at all. Never able to even say, "Hello, I am a Republican poll book watcher," to the judge. As far as the clerk, I tried to get her name because I was a little bit surprised that she had said she was a Democrat and then was introduced to us as a Republican. But I was told, "You can't be at this table, you can't talk to her, you can't be doing this, you have to be away from the table, you're intimidating people, you're intimidating people." I'm 110 pounds soaking wet. I don't know why people think I'm intimidating.
And you are credentialed to be a poll book watcher.
I am, and I simply wanted to know what the name of the Republican clerk was.
Right.
They wanted us.
And what happened after that?
We were told to that we couldn't. We were trying to ask for someone to introduce ourselves to the Republican judge, but we were told that we were being intimidating because we were standing in the center of the room waiting for a time when perhaps the lines went down so that we could speak to the Republican judge, and we were told that we were being intimidating. We had to leave, so we left. And as we left on the way out, two gentlemen who are taller and larger than I am were yelling at us that we were being intimidating. We're not allowed to be intimidating. We're not allowed to interfere. And we asked them, can you tell us how we can talk to the Republican judge and the Republican clerk? Can you help us introduce ourselves to them? And they said, no, you're interfering. You can't interfere. You can't interfere. So these two people who were not identified as clerks, judges, or inspectors, I believe they said they were precinct people of some sort. I don't remember, assistant committeemen, but they were precinct people, were completely unhelpful as to how we could ever talk to the Republicans in the room.
Were you escorted out?
Well, they certainly followed us out. I don't know if escort is the word, but followed out and talked to once we got out into the lobby.
Would you be able to identify these two men that followed you out and told you to get lost?
It's a possibility.
Okay, we'll see if you can.
Yeah.